All right, yesterday we made this assembly and today we're going to make the third and last gear of the music tightness meter. The middle gear here is this one, the large one here is the one down here, and today I'm going to make this small gear that spins the fastest and shows me very clearly if the machine is getting too much or too little power input. At the bottom here you see I have Part Studio 1 and then Assembly and Gear 2. So I have 2 Part Studios and now I want another one. And we're starting that from the Assembly, Create Part Studio in Context. And I'm choosing the origin and that's it. So we're gonna derive. First I wanna choose from Part Studio 1 and I wanna choose Side Sketch. So now we have a derived sketch in this Part Studio, which gives us the beginning for our third gear right here. And here's a really nice feature, the clocking angle. So you can see here now that the gears are not meshing. Then I can just add a clocking angle. So let's do 2 degrees, 6 degrees, 8.5. And the teeth are meshing beautifully. Let's mirror this gear. New part because we want to transform, rotate, and as always this is my favorite math trick. I feel like a genius. How do we know how we can rotate this? By half a tooth. We do this 360 degrees divided on 20 teeth, which means that's the degrees of one tooth, and then we split that in half, divided by 2. So here you can clearly see how evenly spaced they are. I want this wheel to be really spindly and elegant. So we're gonna go crazy, like 4mm wide spokes or something. Let's extrude this little beauty. Let's go ahead and put this into the assembly just to check what's happening here. Insert, gear 3, boom. I like the look of that. I do think that the second gear should be notably larger than the last wheel. So I'm thinking the top wheel here should be like a bit smaller. I do need to make some more parts, but better to get the printer going so we can design while the printer is going. Autoplace. Oh, it's not a long print. That's good. That means we will be able to finish today. So with this kind of layers in the beginning, I'm definitely going to use glue with this PC filament. No support, no overhang, easy peasy to print. So here's the third wheel. Feels really nice actually. The wheels are soon done. Let's start on something fun. So I have this notch here and I have another notch here and they will do special things. And this notch will actually lift an arm, and when the wheel is turning too long, which means that the weight of the marble machine is too high, an arm will be released and warn me audibly. And I think I should start by drawing the bell. And as always, kids, when you do have a symmetrical design, only draw half the sides to make things so much nicer. Boom. So the bell is going to be somewhere here. And then most crucial, I have this part. So this is the little pivot thing that will lift the bell. This yellow position is the perfect position where the music is tight. This yellow position is 25 degrees pivoted, and that's when we want the bell to ring, the warning bell to ring. So this yellow line is the position of the spoke with the trigger when the bell should ring. So now we can start to work on this pivot here. I'll try to explain what's happening here. This thing is traveling on these arcs and interacting with this. But this thing is pivoting around this pivot. So if we draw a center point arc on the outside, you can see that eventually this pin will become lost. And in this configuration, the pin is getting lost at this angle, but we want that line to intersect here. So I can do that by just pulling this out until there. But this thing has to let through the wheel when the wheel is going the other way. So I have to make some kind of function for that. It's Saturday evening. I'm going out for dinner with my girlfriend. I'll be back tomorrow to finish this vlog Sunday. Oh, brilliant. The puncture I fixed yesterday is already back. I mean, this tire has in it, so I think there's no use to keep on fixing the puncture of this tire. Okay, helmet off. I have to take the tube. Wait a second. What if I take the pedals from this bike and put it on my other bike? I'm gonna try if they fit. Oh, it looks pretty close. Stupid idea. I have the feeling bikes want to be nerdy about this shit, so they want to have different standards. Or am I lucky? Yeah, it fits great. If this works, the bikers of Stockholm won't know what hit them. I'm too fast for this city. Okay, should have the last parts printed. All right. Sleeve and the bearing seat. Have to... We have all the parts for this assembly ready to go. So let's start with pushing the bearing into the gear here and the bearing into the bearing seat here. So then the bearing seating here with this part that has the ridge here that is pushing on exactly the outer sleeve of the bearing. If I take a close look at the gear, it runs perfectly true. The shoulder bolts and the pressed bearings. Let's add the nuts. And our third little assembly is done. So the full gear train. That looks cool. Okay, so that's all 3 axles on this module. So I need a frame to hold these gears together, but before I start to design the frame, I want to design all the moving parts of the assembly. So we have this hammer, and we have also another cool thing here. And I want to design them first so I know where the pivot should be in the frame. I used this sketch to figure out where the pivot should be. And now I'm gonna do a new sketch to have it a little bit cleaner that I'm gonna rename to say bell arm. Let's just make a very simple arm like this. Constrain it to our 2 pivots, and now we have to set the size. 6 perhaps. That looks cool. The yellow thing down here will come up like this and lift this thing. But we have to make sure when it goes back through the thing that it doesn't break. So I'm doing a safety thing here. And I just discovered that if I want to pivot some sketch lines, I can just take this and move it. Boom. And I can pivot it my 60 degree that I want to pivot it. Very, very cool. I don't think you can do that in Fusion 360 without doing a circular pattern. Okay, I'm done with the sketch, and here's the part. So this is the part's normal position, and it's gonna get there because it's just weighing more on the right side. So I don't need to use a spring. And then it can pivot like this, and then it clears the path of this peg and without flipping over. And as soon as the peg is gone, it's gonna pivot back like this. Meaning, when the peg lifts this thing up, it's gonna lift the whole thing. And when the thing has fallen and the peg is passing through it the other direction, it's just going to open the door for it like this. I'm out of my PC filaments. I'm going to try to print this in PLA CF, so carbon fiber enforced PLA. This part would do fine in normal PLA. I'm just experimenting with these filaments to learn what properties they can offer and get familiarized with them. I almost changed my mind entirely for the design of this. I wanted it to be on the other side of the pivot arm, and now I'm ready to print this. These 2 screws are just for counterweight because I want this to fall clockwise. And this is the pivot. Let's print this. Here's the first PLA CF part. What do we think? Comes off nicely. Support stays on the build plate. Ooh, this feels... Oh. Yeah, they said the layer lines were almost invisible. All right, we have a first PLA CF part. I'm gonna use gloves. With carbon fiber filaments, everyone agrees that if you're sanding it, you have to use a respirator and gloves and should be really careful. And it can be good to wet sand it to keep dust low. And if you're drilling it and stuff and working it, then you should be cautious. But this, I'm very impressed with this part actually, because it looks beautiful like PLA, but it's really, really stiff. But I think it's safe to say that if your print doesn't require like carbon fiber reinforcement, you shouldn't use it. But I definitely think there's a place for this material. Oh, that's nice. One of the more beautiful filaments I've ever seen in black, actually. Like, these surfaces are really, really, really nice. I'm gonna push these bolts all the way down. I added these bolts just as weights because I want this to pivot like this. Okay, so we successfully finished the third sub-assembly. It looks like it's meshing really nicely. We have our big third gear and we made our first PLA carbon fiber print ever. I'm going to bike 20 kilometers now to water my sister's plants. It's been a pleasure to have you with me on this weekend vlog. This day is in the middle of the road, 8 and 6. We're right in the middle of this cluster that has started to appear. The music tightness meter can't go above 9 because it's not the most important thing that I should be doing right now. But it's a relaxing that I put in during the move. It smells of tinkering, I have to be honest, and I'm longing to do projects that end up over here. When I get dots here by the stars, I'm gonna be so proud. Let's add 10, vlog 10. Thank you for watching. Let's end this summer's evening with biking 20 kilometers and watering some plants in my sister's garden. When the city of Stockholm heard that I was moving here, they decided to put a giant floor marble to my honor. They call it the Globe and they have live concerts. We have to play that one day. A huge thank you to all the Wintergatan backers who are producing this vlog. Everyone here on screen right now, thank you so much. And everyone watching at home, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And Hannes and Wilson does too. Take care. See you in the next one.